I'm one of the people that you've probably heard a lot that knew I was gay from a really young age. My family might not have had a word for it, but I remember growing up as a kid and having my grandparents say, "Oh, Craig's not going to get married, so don't push that on him." I don't think they meant it that I was going to be gay, but there was that inkling for them. I grew up going to church and out in the country, so even though the denomination I went to, went to a friend's church, was really progressive, that doesn't necessarily translate to the smaller churches in southern Michigan where I was. So you didn't hear things like gay or lesbian really used much. It wasn't until I got into high school that I realized what that meant and kind of stood up in history class and came out in 11th grade because my history teacher was reading current event articles and talking about how he thought gays should be shot and how they were a scourge in society, and I just kind of couldn't take it and blurted it out. And so high school was difficult from that point on. And strangely, church actually for me was somewhat of a sanctuary sometimes because I was able to go and be part of the choir, and so my religion was important to me. But at the same time, I was kind of trying to ignore sermons that I would hear every once in a while, about what it meant to be gay and how that was wrong. So it was really a conflict. So I pretty much turned away from church for a number of years through college until I kind of got in my 20s and started going to an MCC church, which of course is founded for that very reason. I know what it's like to be an outsider in the mainstream. And so I know there's also a lot of us who feel sometimes like we're outsiders within the community. So for me, one of the reasons I'm in a leather club is, so one, I can work toward LGBT equality on the whole, but also to educate ourselves that, even as LGBT people, we come in a lot of different shapes and sizes and fetishes and identifications, and so it's important for us to embrace our own community if we want the rest of the community to embrace us. I can understand people being a little afraid of or not exactly understanding something that's outside their comfort zone, something they have no experience with. And so I think it's important for folks like me not to apologize for who I am, not to kind of make excuses for myself, but to try to meet people where they're at. To say, you know what, I grew up in church, I still go to church, religion's important to me, I understand how that's important to you as well, let's find some common ground. I think if you try to come at people with this, you're just wrong and you're hateful and here's why, you put a wall up pretty quickly. I think it's about helping people understand that we're all just people and we want basically the same thing, but that doesn't mean we're exactly the same. Because that whole we're all the same argument is what leaves folks who do drag out. It's what leaves leather folks out. It's what creates that idea that some of us should march in the parade and some of us should just hide until it's over. And I don't really think that way. I think, at our core, people are pretty similar. We want the same kinds of things. We don't have to look the same or act the same to have the same rights.